Hello, Facebook. Here we are today for our Mindset Facebook Live, which is so important right now. I'm here with two amazing people, Jack Cross and Miriam from Miriam Speaks. Yes, is that correct, Miriam?
Yes, thank you.
And these are major influencers and major mindset people, and it's so cool that we've come together and been able to talk, that we're able to come together and do this for you. Let me see who's on. I'll give it a second to let some people come on, and in the meantime, we're going to share the live on our pages and all of that while everyone comes on. So let's do that really quick.
Yes.
Thank you.
But in the meantime, guys, as we do this, as always, you guys are always part of our conversation. And go ahead and ask any questions, make any comments, and I'm going to be acknowledging you guys. And we're hopefully be able to answer as many questions as possible while we do this.
For sure.
Yes.
So we're just gonna hang out for a bit and wait for people to join, Sarai.
Well, we're just sharing like on our pages and all of that, and we'll get started. Let me share. I'm almost done sharing. Are you guys sharing?
Yes. Share it up.
We just want to reach as many people as possible right now.
Yes, the world needs to hear this one. Mindset is the key.
Yes. All right. So, we could get started. I don't see many people saying hi right now, so that's a little concerning to me. Even though
there's Michael.
I do
Michael's
see
on. Hi, Michael.
The comment. Okay, there I do see Raymond. Hey, Raymond.
Yay, Ray. What's up, brother?
They're starting to come in. It always takes like a couple minutes for comments to come in.
Yeah, give them time. Show us some hearts. Give us some love.
Yes, you guys are seeing it.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, awesome. All right. So as always, I'm going to introduce myself to begin with, and my name is Sarai Nammur. For those of you who don't know me or have never connected with me, I am a licensed mental health counselor here in the state of Florida. I'm the founder of Trinity Community Mental Health Center, which is a trauma-informed agency in Florida. And I'm also the founder of Circle of Champions Worldwide, a nonprofit. But my real passion is in helping people thrive and helping people overcome. And this is why this topic is so amazing for me, because it is through your mindset that you're able to stand apart and be that person that overcomes no matter what you've been through. And together here with me, I have Jack Cross, which is a transformational teacher. We met but didn't meet a few months ago at an event, and I feel so lucky that I've crossed paths with him. And we also have Miriam Speaks, who is a motivational speaker, and we're all sort of in the same group, and we've all connected because that's how the universe works. We like-minded people connect and like energies connect. But I'll give everyone a chance to do their own introduction. So I'm gonna throw the ball to Jack so he could introduce himself.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sarai, and thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. I really appreciate this opportunity to be here with you beautiful women. You light workers, you visionaries. I know you're really focused and powerhouses in your own field. So I feel very blessed to be sitting here alongside you having this conversation. Had the lovely opportunity over the last 11 years now to be traveling the world, working in the health and fitness industry, working in the healing industry, supporting people physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually through their transformational journeys. And it's been a massive roller coaster for me. And many people know me for having that inspiration on a lot of people. But what a lot of people don't know is that 11 years ago, I was a hot mess. 11 years ago, I was in a really, really, really bad place in my own life. I was struggling. I was depressed. I was suicidal. I had a lot of massive health issues in my life. And I was just hating my life in a toxic job, in a toxic relationship. And I was really on the wrong side of the fence. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot how precious life is, because in 2008, at the age of 23, my mum received a phone call on a Sunday morning, and my uncle had dropped dead from a heart attack. I still remember the phone call. Ken's died. I saw it wipe the color off her face. I saw her knees buckle. I don't know if anyone has had their knees buckle in life before, but it made me realize how sacred and how fragile and how precious life is. And I realized how much of my life I'd been wasting and how much of my life I'd been living as a victim, blaming my world for my situation, blaming my mum, blaming my dad, blaming my society, blaming my community, not taking ownership for my life, not taking ownership for my health, not taking ownership for the choices that I made. And I made a massive change in my life at that point. I started really asking myself what I wanted and what was important. And I wanted to help people. I wanted to do something with my life. I wanted to have a purpose with my life. And I really started asking myself some deeper questions instead of focusing on the mundane and living for the weekend and focusing on going out and abusing my body and going numb and getting drunk. I started really shifting myself, and I started looking into how to improve my health first. And so that's where the journey started for me. And then as I started progressing and asking myself deeper and deeper questions, I started accessing more opportunities, and my life started changing. I started separating myself from toxic people that I had chosen to surround myself with. I started removing myself from toxic environments that I had chosen again to live with. And I started taking ownership for my life. And this is really what I've learned, is that we are creating our reality, whether we're conscious or unconscious of it. And at some point, we have to turn unconsciousness into consciousness and wake up and realize. So the biggest thing that pre-frames my conversation today is understanding that our belief system right now is going to direct the direction of this conversation and what's going on in the world right now. Are we choosing to be a victim, or are we choosing to be a creator? Because right now, if we pre-frame our life and say we are creating our reality, then we have the power and ability to change everything that's going on right now. Because this, what is happening in this world is a direct reflection of what's going on. So during that time, I started off traveling the world, working on luxury cruise liners. And then as I progressed, I ended up working with stage 4 cancer patients at integrative healing centers all over the world, side by side with doctors. So it was belly to belly, heart to heart, soul to soul work, where I was like right there with people. And what I was recognizing, what I was seeing, was that I could help someone physically transform their health physiologically. But if their mental zip code, if their mind hadn't changed, then they would just go straight back to where they were after they come to the healing centers and got well. So I was getting so frustrated. Why isn't this working? I wanted to help someone fully resurrect their health, fully resurrect their light. And then I had to recognize that I had more to learn. And I started educating myself. I started studying hard. I went to India and spent 6 months learning about Tibetan Buddhism, thought transformation, how to reprogram the subconscious mind, learning through Dr. Joe Dispenza, learning through some of the greats out there that understand about epigenetics, that we are creating our reality, that our environment is influencing us, and we have the impact and ability to influence our environment as well. So that's some of the things I'm here to talk about today. And thank you for listening. And I'm passing you on to Miriam.
Thank you. Well, how can I follow that?
Yeah,
You're doing so many wonderful things, Jack. I love it. I'm honored to be here with you both today. I'm learning so much about both of you. And I actually started my journey not too long ago. And similar to Jack, there was a moment that I just realized my life had to be shifted. And it was up to me to make that shift and make some changes in my life. So I just became a mother for the second time 6 months ago. And that's actually last year was when my journey began with my mindset. I'm 34 years old, and throughout my life, I've always felt like something just was missing. And I struggled as a teenager. I was in the juvenile justice system. I was sent to a boarding school in Mexico because I was a part of, gangs and affiliated with different things. I'm exposed to drugs and participate in just unhealthy behaviors. And there was always something missing. So I didn't feel like I connected with my family. I didn't feel like I connected with friends, my community. So I looked for other sources to make myself feel better, whether it was drugs, alcohol, whatever it might be. So once I started realizing as an adult, I became a mother as 21, my first son, and I really struggled with that relationship, really toxic relationship, unhealthy behaviors again. And then once I realized that something had to change, because my life was the same, same friends, very toxic, same relationships. And I realized that it was me, and I couldn't be a victim anymore. I couldn't blame my family. I couldn't blame. Then I took on the responsibility to start creating all these shifts in my life. Fortunately, I've been successful now to have, close friends and close relationships that are aligned with my purpose in life, which is to help people. And I started getting involved in more productive programs and more productive relationships. So there's a lot that I could share, and we'll go through it as we go, but I wanted to let you guys know that I'm here. I just want to talk about mindset because I feel like that's a foundation to everything. And if we don't get our mindset under control, especially during these circumstances, things could really go downhill or can get worse for us. So I wanted to make sure that we use the space, the sacred space, to share our techniques that we have, our skills to assist others in developing stronger mindset and positivity, just build up on that. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone gets a little bit out of this conversation today.
Love it. All right, so we're going to start off with why is mindset important? And before I do that, I just want to acknowledge like how privileged I feel to be with you guys, and just what you have shared so far is such a great setup for what we're about to do, because I'm listening to you guys, and I really didn't know these stories about Jack, or I didn't know your story either, Miriam. So I'm going to add a little bit of mine. And it really wasn't, even though I'm a therapist and I have a master's degree in psychology and all of that, yes, but it wasn't psychology precisely that helped me overcome. What helped me overcome was mindset. And I know everyone knows, yes, I have my master's degree. I own a community mental health center, which is a huge accomplishment. I have all these things, and, I've been a boss for so long and all of this. But what's important for people to know is, I want to set that up because I want everyone to know that I wasn't always like this. My teens and my 20s were extremely, extremely difficult, to say the least. It was the most difficult time of my life. I know what I know what panic attacks are. I know what depression is. I know what anxiety is. And more than that, and the real root to that, is fear of living my life. So I was a prisoner for 15 years of fear of just living my life, fear of making a decision, fear of moving left, right, anywhere. And so I stayed in the zone, and the zone was what society said was the right thing to do, which was get married, go to school, and do all those things. But I was terrified to move anywhere other than that lane, which was, even though it's what society has printed out as the blueprint, that is not necessarily the best way to live. And I was terrified to just listen to my spirit, and because of that, stayed in the zone. Because of that, I had panic attacks, and I suffered, and it was so challenging. And it wasn't until I met Tony Robbins and went to his events and just really learned what he had to give, when I transformed. Was the transformation overnight? No. It took like 10 years for that transformation to happen. And it's only really been in the last 10 years that it has even gone further. And I imagine the next 10 years are going to take me even further. Why? Because I live a life where growth is so important, and it is so important to have a self-development plan. And the only people that have a self-development plan are people that have a growth mindset. If I wouldn't have a growth mindset, then I would have been stuck in panic attack world, depression world, and for a fact, I wouldn't have accomplished any of the things that you guys see me as. And I know that many people out there didn't know this about me, and many people out there just see what the results right now. But I promise you that the results that you're seeing, which are short from where I want to be, but there are results at the end. These results are 100% because of a shift in my mindset and a shift into thinking. I am not what I was. I am not my childhood. I am not what I've been through. I am what I choose to be. So I loved the setup that you guys gave, and it set me up to say all this and for us to really focus on why is mindset important. So for me, this is why mindset is important, because it saved my life, it transformed my life, and it made me be who I am today. So that's why it is for me. So I'm gonna, Jack, why is mindset so important for you?
Man, so when it comes to health, it really is everything. What I learned was, from a physiological standpoint, if we embody fear, it is a toxic hormone. From an acid versus an alkaline standpoint, if we embody toxic emotions, they actually poison our body. They physically poison us because the neurological, the chemicals, the hormones that are released within our body from our glands and organs, right? So we think about trying to get healthy. The body's got two options. It's either rest and digest, or it's fight and flight. It's either rest and digest, which is where detoxification takes place, and that's how the body naturally self-cleans and heals itself, or we're fight and flight, man. We're trying to get away from a lion. So if we're in fear, if we're in a stress state, we are releasing these poisonous hormones into our body every single day. This puts our body into a toxic state. Your body can't heal in that state. Your body can't regenerate. Your body can't get well. So if you're constantly living in a state of fear, and other things can affect that as well, like the foods we're putting into us, the emotions we're feeling, our perspective of the world can directly affect that. Someone else's words, if we allow those words to touch our consciousness and influence and impact the way that we perceive and believe ourselves, that can affect us as well. So there's so many different ways that that's coming into our environment today. Mm-hmm. And so we have got this slow residue of toxic hormones that our body is releasing. And now let's have a think about what we can control. And this is where the victim versus the creator mindset comes in, because the victim allows the world outside them to influence the way that they feel. They allow the world outside them to allow them to the feelings they feel, the thoughts that they're thinking, and the words that they're saying to themselves internally. That's a victim consciousness. So the world is affecting you. That's a moon. That's a contracting energy, right? Fear contracts. Fear shuts the body down. Fear causes this to happen. And you'll see this in someone that's really sick. You'll see them going into this state. I've seen it in really sick cancer patients. The body starts contracting, the shoulders start rolling forward. They get into this weak posture. The whole body's breaking down and deteriorating, literally from the fear, from the thoughts and the feelings that are moving through their body temple. Mm-hmm. On the other side, a creator is someone that affects their world. You can see a really powerful creator, someone that's got a really powerful vision, a really powerful dream, someone that knows who they are, someone that's aligned with someone that's generating their emotions, generating their thoughts, and generating their feelings, and then they are influencing the world. They're a sun presence. They're shining light on the world. You can see someone that's doing this. Tony Robbins, you spoke about him, he's a perfect example. Our teacher, Lisa Nichols, God bless her soul, she's a perfect example of someone that influences the world, having a ripple effect on the world. And I've seen it, like, they're big examples, but then there's small examples, like a lady that I met just recently who made a decision to start transforming her health. And she was very overweight, and she was very toxic, and she come to one of my workshops and seminars here in Australia. And she started making a change. She made a commitment to making a change. And initially, when she started making the change, her children, they didn't want to change because they were used to mum taking them to McDonald's. They were used to having these relationships with mum, where mum would go to McDonald's with them every day after school as a treat. That was the food. And she made the change. She said, you know what? I don't want to eat that anymore. And her world was frustrated with her initially. How dare you do that, mum? I hate the gym. I hate the personal training studio that you're going to now, because now it's affecting our relationship. But guess what? Now that child's changed. Now that child's improved her health. Now that child's improved her attitude. Now that child is taking personal training at the same gym that her mum is. That's a creator. That's someone that's affecting the world, having a positive impact on her family because of the conscious decision that she made internally. So I just want to show you a big example and a small example, because everyone has this power to do it right now on this planet. That's the power of mindset.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is so wonderful. And Sarai, thank you so much for sharing your story. I know for me, for example, sharing my past and my history has been challenging sometimes. I carry a lot of shame or guilt or different things. And that's why the mindset is so important, because if we don't realize, our past does not define our future. And if we just don't capture that and realize that we carry on all these beliefs in our mind and they prevent us from moving forward. So mindset is a foundation for everything, for our lives, for our choices, the way we deal with people. And what I found recently, after doing some research, like I mentioned, I had a baby 6 months ago. And through all my life, I've had challenges, never really formed relationships with people, and unable to attach or just have positive relationships. When I had my son 6 months ago, I went through a severe depression where I didn't realize what was happening. Again, you just don't know. You just go through the motion. Every day is you go to work, you come home, you just deal with life. Things go bad, you kind of, for me, just don't deal with anything, ignore it until it blows up. And that was just my way of dealing with things through life, just kind of go along and never really think about my thoughts. Like I would let my thoughts run my life instead of me running my life. My thoughts would run my life. So, what I realized 6 months ago, or more than 6 months ago, when I was in this really dark place, one day I just found myself sobbing on the floor and not really understanding what was happening. Thoughts of like, I don't even want to be here right now. I don't want to kill myself, but if I didn't wake up tomorrow, I just don't care. And I knew something was wrong. And that's part of postpartum depression. That's something that I talk a lot about because that's actually what shifted my life. I went to the hospital and the doctor said, you're clinically depressed. And I had never really heard those things or those words before. And she mentioned, you have to be on medication. Now, for my culture, my family, when you're prescribed medication, you're crazy. There's something wrong. It's like, it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
So that spooked me. And I was like, wait a minute, what do you mean take medication? She said, yeah, you have to be on something. And at this point, it's dangerous, for you to be by yourself with the child or at home if you're having all these thoughts. So that was my reality check that something was just not right with my mind and I had to change something and make a shift. So I started doing a little bit more research regarding mindset and what I've heard about it before, and I just didn't really know. So what I realized is actually the person who created these models, which is fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Her name is Carol Dweck, and she's actually a psychologist at Stanford University, which is not too far from where I live. So basically the difference is fixed mindset, the belief that things are the way they are. Even if you try and you fail, just don't try again because you're afraid of getting feedback, or some people are smart and some are not. And that's actually the mentality that I used to have. Just my life sucks. And basically that's what it is. And I have to deal with it. I was born into poverty and some people are rich and I'm just not. And it's different thoughts that I learned from my childhood. Could be my parents, could be the people around me. And I just start believing it. And I start really internalizing that. Now, the other growth mindset is the way that you believe intelligence can be enhanced. You could be successful if you work hard. It doesn't matter your background or how you were raised or where you come from. You could still be successful. So I started adopting that mindset. And actually, within 6 months, I've had such a shift in my life. I'm no longer depressed. I'm able to really control my thoughts. If something negative happens, I take it in. If I'm having a bad day, I take it in. I restructure the way I view things. I look at the positive side of it and I shift my mind. So I've actually learned how to do that. And I think super powerful. I know like this morning I was having a challenging time. My uncle passed a week ago, and due to the coronavirus, they're limiting the people that could be there. So only 25 selected people. So this morning was challenging. I woke up and I'm like, it's just so sad what's happening in this world. All the things that are going on. It's really sad. And then I kind of shifted that. Okay, how can I think about this in a positive way? And what can I do to impact the people around me? And I started changing the way I felt. And what happened 30 minutes later, I got notification that it was being streamed live. And I felt better that I was a part of it in some way. The services are today, that I was a part of the services today and it was being streamed. So I think if we focus on our mindset and we don't let these additional negative sources take over our lives, we could have more of an impact on our families and in our lives. So that's why I think mindset is so important. It's important to understand that you have the power to change the way you feel. I mean, it's so powerful that we can shift that. And also acknowledge how we feel. There are hard times in life, and really just take that in, but move on and stay instead of staying there. And that's something that I actually learned, like you mentioned, Lisa Nichols. I've been through some of her trainings, her seminars, and I think it's super powerful for us to have the ability to understand and continue on a growth mindset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sharing that. And just to follow and piggyback on what you're saying, definitely mindset gives us a sense of responsibility, but it also gives us a sense of, for those of us that didn't know we have the power to shift our lives, it definitely gives us the insight that we could change our life and we could become something better and different and actually anything we want. And it is only through us and through our minds and through our thoughts that we're able to do this. So that was really, really awesome that you shared that. The next question that we have up to. Did you want to say something, Jack? Because you're breathing hard.
No, I just wanted to add, I'm just taking in oxygen. But I was going to say that I just wanted to add on that Carl Jung says, until the conscious mind becomes aware of the subconscious, the outer world will rule our life, and we will call it fate.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. So exactly. That's such a good point, because a lot of what you were describing, Miriam, is that because of perhaps your childhood or the way that you were taught, and sometimes we're taught not directly like this, but we're taught just by listening to our parents, and just pretty much the culture of our family teaches us something. It teaches us things that are so ingrained in us, and it's in our core. It's in our core to have these beliefs, and I think what I heard you saying is that there was a sense of helplessness, like you were stuck with who you were and where you were at and all your experiences, and that was it. And it sounds like the shift that you had in mindset helped you see that no, you're not helpless, and you do have power, and you could decide, and you could make humongous changes in your life. And look where you're at just 6 months later. And look where you're at. So basically what you're saying is, I'm not my depression. I am powerful, and I could decide, and I could shift my mind, and I could shift my thoughts, and I could feel completely different by doing these shifts. So what you're saying is so incredibly, incredibly powerful. And thank you so much for asking for us to do this live together, because it was Miriam's idea. And maybe that was placed in you so that we could have this powerful talk, because there's many people out there listening to us who don't know this. There's many people out there who are just sitting in their depression or sitting in their negativity, and they don't know that it's not a set thing. It's set aside to shift it. You're the one that's in charge of deciding. You're the one in charge of deciding what thoughts you're going to keep as true, and what ideas and values that we grew up with are we going to keep going forward. And we don't need to keep them all. We could throw some of them away. Some of them don't work for us. Some of them work for our parents, but they don't work for us. And we break, these chains of repeated trauma and generational cycle over and over again, is by making these choices. So Miriam, you did this, and your children are going to be so much better. Like,
I was going to say the same thing. I want to celebrate you, because the transformation that you're going through shifts your generation. It shifts what your children experience. It literally changes your DNA. It changes what you pass on to your children. And so you're upgrading your DNA right now, and you're upgrading your family lineage. So you're doing the great work, sister.
I actually, right now, since we're talking about it, it really gives me chills, like to think about the power that we have. And I know when I decided to do that, and all these wonderful things are happening in my life, like the universe, everything's just connecting, and it's super powerful. And really anyone can do it, regardless of where you're at in your life, your background. And really what's amazing is we have social media, or we have the internet, and it's available there. We can actually look up videos about mindset and learn. It's super cool that everything is, for me, instead of wasting my time looking at negative things on TV or movies or looking at people on Facebook that really are not helping me, just look up something else that really benefit you. And I think it's so cool.
And to add to that, because you brought it up, like the biggest stronghold that society has on humanity's mindset is through the media, right? Not to jump on the conspiracy wagon, but just to bring to our awareness, if we're not already, the biggest stronghold that society has is through the media, because what we are putting into our consciousness is directly affecting our belief systems. So we get to choose what we are putting into our consciousness, and by choosing that, we become empowered again. And then having communities like this to connect with like-minded souls, so that we can put our minds together in this mastermind and feed each other's genius, brings such an empowerment and an upliftment to the world.
Yes, it does. It totally does. And I'm going to add I know we're adding to things, and we're not keeping to our questions, but I want to add that to what Miriam said. If it wasn't for the internet, and if it wasn't for Facebook and all of this, we would not be connected right now. And I would have never ran into Miriam's message of who wants to do a live. And then I answered, and it just happened to be that I turned on my phone and I saw it and I'm like, yes, I'll do it. And it just happened, and I don't think anything is a coincidence. I think things are meant to be for a specific reason. And so it brought us here together today. And I'm going to throw that now to like the audience. I'm like, people are really responding amazingly. Thank you for all of this. Thank you for your message. I needed this today for sure. There's people that really need to hear this. Yes, yes, yes. I'm not alone. We are not. It is a powerful thing. I'm not that depression. So people, this is just resonating with people. And I think that's our purpose. I think.
Wait a sec. I heard I am not that depression. Can I just suggest an upgrade? Conscious language. Never say I am not, because that's a negative. Sorry, I just got caught me. So I am what? What are you? Not what are you not, but what are you?
So I am joy. I am joy. Right. I am happiness. I am peace. Jaime. So that's what Jack is saying. So the universe only hears I am depression. And they didn't hear the not. So instead of saying that, you say I am, which I think I'm the first one that said I am not my past, but you say I am joy, I am peace, I am something else like that of what it is that you're trying to be. Okay, that was someone messaged us, Chloe, but I just wanted to really just pull the audience in and for
awesome. Love it. I love it.
I celebrate you overcoming depression and shifting your mind. That was Ryan to Miriam.
Thank you.
Yes, Miriam. There's a scripture that says our greatest weakness shall be our greatest strength. And I believe that you've just walked through that path. It's a hero's journey. So congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
And you know what, Jack? That's so cool that you said that, because one thing about having a growth mindset is that if you have a growth mindset, you learn how to manage difficult times, and you learn how to properly give meaning to those times, as opposed to saying, well, this happened because of course it's going to happen to me. I have bad luck, or this is how my life is, or I deserve it, or anything like that. Those are not empowering thoughts. But if you are empowered and you have a growth mindset and an empowering mindset, you tend to look for the benefits in all situations. You look at and seek out, how could I grow from this? What could I learn from this? What is this trying to teach me? You say different statements, and a lot of the statements are questions that give you an answer to help you seek out more. So I like that. All right, so our next question is, what are a few tips or tools to strengthen your mindset?
Oh, I love this question.
You go first.
Let me go. Okay. So many. But for me, it really starts when I wake up first thing in the morning. And there's so many tools out there now. But how do you wake up first thing in the morning? And I'll be honest, even now when I wake up first thing in the morning with negative thoughts, and I've got to shift that first thing in the morning. I've got to shift that every single day. It's not just, it doesn't happen after a day. It doesn't happen after a week. It doesn't happen after a month. If I've had 20, 30 years of negative self-talk, passed on genetically, potentially, passed on through my lineage, potentially, I'm not playing a victim, but just being aware that it could be many decades and many generations there. Look at what we've come out of collectively as humanity. So it's clear that it takes time. And so recognizing that you've got the ability to switch that, and we spoke about conscious language just before, that's been such a powerful tool that's helped me. So for a long time, I woke up with fear, just like you ladies. Oh my gosh, man, my mum put it into me. I remember my mum when I was 5 years old. All right, Jack, I need you to run down to the shop and get me some eggs, but be careful because any car that stops is going to kidnap you and I'll never see you again. No joke, here's the money, now go boy. Here I'd go down the shop, every car that stopped. So I live my life like this as a child. And just yesterday I was with my sister. We went for a fun run with her son who's 3 years old. And we were sharing this memory and story again because I was watching this child. He's so cool. His name's Harper, 3 years old, just full of energy, no awareness of what's going on in the world. This kid is fully present. He's got no self consciousness. He's just butt naked running around and, having such a great time. So I think being around children is such a powerful tool because children really, really, really help us to remember how to play like a child, how to play like with courage. And he's climbing up these steps and running out into the water and he can't even swim. And, you know, obviously we need to keep an eye on them, but he's fearless. He's fearless. He's brave. He's just loving. He's very forgiving. He'll do something and not even be aware that he's hurting you. You know what I mean? And then you tell him, "Oh, I'm sorry, mummy. I'm sorry, mummy. I love you, mummy." So just those skill sets. So being around children, I think, is really powerful to remind us of those qualities. But yeah, having fear my whole life, and then learning how to clear that. So I'd wake up with heart palpitations, and I'd wake up in fear and anxiety during the nights. And I'd push through it. I've got faith. No, Jack, no, I've got faith. I trust. When I'd be stepping through new challenges and difficult situations in my life, taking on new opportunities, the fear would come up, just loving the fear and shifting it into faith every single time and making a conscious decision to do that. Anytime doubt would come up in a new opportunity or a new experience, no, I trust in God. I trust in God and me. I trust in God and me. I trust my love. I love my trust. And I'd be saying these decrees on a regular, constantly, out loud and internally to help to reprogram my subconscious mind and my negative self-talk. So that was one really powerful thing that I do first thing in the morning. I also love to journal, writing down. I believe there's a very powerful thing, pen to paper. It's the first time when we really take our subconscious thought or a metaphysical thought and we bring it into form through our pen. So writing down those decrees every morning and writing down what you're choosing to create and have in your day. I love to bring gratitude into my life first thing in the morning as well. Writing down gratitude, what I'm grateful for, is so powerful for me. I notice it instantly elevates and expands my heart. I've done some research and heard about meditations on gratitude, and that it actually allows oxytocin to come into the body. Your body releases its love molecule, and it says that it dilates the heart and it dilates the blood vessels and brings blood flow into the heart. So gratitude is a very powerful way to bring that hormone, which is such a healing hormone, into the body, open up the heart, and it's like a heart expanding experience. Yes. I'm sure you ladies can relate when you've had gratitude in your life before. It just like tears could come streaming down your eyes as you become aware of your connection to everything around you and how grateful we are to be alive and be on this planet right now.
Yeah.
So those are really big practices that I do every morning. And then I love to exercise. So movement for me is so key. Connecting my mind and my body. The body's the subconscious mind. The body, the language of the body is the emotions, but movement is key. So mind-body movement's really, really powerful. Practicing yoga or some form of mind-body connection. And this is what really made exercise powerful for me as a coach. I used to train a lot and I was kind of unconscious when I was training, but I started recognizing that no, when I'm training, I'm actually building resilience. I'm actually preparing myself for life, because I would start checking my thoughts in. And I'd notice that I'd be going, "Oh, Jack, that's enough," or "You can't do any more." And I'd start reprogramming, "No, I can do more. And I noticed that I had more in me. I had more reps in me. I had more fitness in me. I wanted to touch my 100 every single day. I wanted to touch my 100 every single day. And I noticed that if I did it in the gym, that helped me to show up better in life, or if I did it when I was going for a run. So exercise is a really powerful way to build resilience and push through those barriers in life when you usually sit down, when you usually say no, when you usually stop. You can train yourself in the gym or with exercise to prepare yourself for life. When you usually sit down, boom, and then you step up and you push through, you go, "I've got more." Why? Because you've been telling yourself you've got more and training yourself like that in the gym and in fitness. So that's a really powerful one. In this time as well, I'm going to say that deep rest is really important to help to cleanse and detoxify the body. So with nutrition and deep rest, that's really going to help, because when your body goes into sleep and you go into those deep sleep cycles, that's when the body actually really cleans house. So it goes into this self-cleaning mechanism and cleans your body temple. So make sure that you're getting plenty of good rest. And the best way to do that is not eating too heavy at nighttime, and also doing a gentle and quiet meditation before going to bed. So one of the most powerful meditations and visualization practices I do that I recommend for everyone, this is going to be the last one, ladies, got so many, is seeing yourself at your best. So for a long time, I doubted myself. For a long time, I didn't see Jack as someone that could inspire and empower people. I didn't see Jack as someone that could stand up on stage. I didn't see Jack as someone that could travel the world. I was that scared little kid, still running around with $5, running from cars, right? Not engaging with the world, not interacting with the world. So I started seeing myself at my best. I get into a visualization where I get into the state that I was when I was in my best. What did that Jack feel like? Like when my hormones were at my best, when I was at my biggest and I was strongest and I had muscles and I felt good and I felt attractive and I felt energetic and I felt magnetic. What were the qualities of Jack at his best? How did he show up? How was he received by the world? How was he talking to himself? How was he feeling? And I really embody that state. And as you embody a state, the mind doesn't know whether you're experiencing something from the past, the present, or the future. When you're embodying that state as a memory, it's happening right there and then in your moment. So you actually get a chance to start programming that state into your body. And this is a powerhouse tool that I use. I do this every day. And this has really been helping me to step back up into my greatness, step back up into my full potential, step back up and show up the way that I know I can. So those are some tools that I recommend during this time to really help you to support your mind and improve your health and stay on top of your game during this situation. Because when times like this happen, it makes me want to step up. I don't want to contract. I want to step up. I want to show up better. I want to help the world. There's like a calling that comes in and makes me want to show up. And I know everyone listening is going to feel this as well. So yeah, show up and be your best and use these tools to help you. Thank you for listening.
You know, I don't know where you were at 6 months ago, Jack, but everything that you describe, I'm like, I needed this. Every single thing, I actually wrote them down because everything that you are doing is what I'm doing, which is really amazing. Even with the manifestation, and everything, again, I've learned through just researching. And it feels really good. The first 20 minutes of my day is I listen to positivity, whether it's Lisa Nichols or Les Brown or Tony Robbins, whoever it might be something else. But that's the first thing I do. I'm exercising here at home because I can't go to the gym right now. And I have that playing. And actually, a funny story, my baby actually listens to it too. Most of the time we don't put, little baby cartoons. We put Les Brown or something. So he gets all worked up and he's sitting in his little bouncy, or when Lisa gets going, he's like all worked up. And I have really funny videos of him. So that's what I mainly do. Affirmations every day. I am wonderful. I actually have an alarm on my phone so I can remember at 11:11 every day. It's an alarm that reminds me to think about who I am. And sometimes we get so caught up in what we're doing, being parents or working or whatever it might be, and we forget. Or we just, in the morning, sometimes we don't feel like it. We think, okay, I'm tired. I don't feel well. I'm angry or whatever is happening. I'm not motivated. I just do it. Remove those feelings. I'm not doing it. I just get up and do it. Once I'm up, I get going. So I think that for me, affirmations is a big one. Every single day, I give myself all this information. And something that I want everyone to think about is, if we had someone calling us today and said, I feel sad or I feel lonely, we would give them so much love, right? Jack, we would, and Sarai, we would be there for them, for our family. We need to do that to ourselves. And we forget to do that. And that's not the way to do it, because we're pouring into others all day. So early in the morning, I pour into me and I pour into Miriam, because if I don't have enough, I can't have for others. So definitely feeding into myself in the morning. That's my, I have a gratitude journal, and every day I go in gratitude, what I'm grateful for and what my intentions. And in my intentions, my gratitude intentions is where I visualize. What am I grateful for that I'm working towards? For example, with my real estate, my deal, what does my deal look like? This deal that I just received. And I visualized me receiving that check. And a coach that I had for real estate taught me, how do I feel about it? And I start getting excited, like, okay, this is how I feel. What am I going to feel when I deposit in the bank? So everything I visualize, because our mind doesn't know, we're just going through the motions, right? So our body can get used to it. And our mind doesn't know we're visualizing it for the future. We're tricking ourselves kind of to what it feels like right now. And goal planning. I set some goals, and it could either be little goals, but I always keep track and I celebrate the small wins. Even if if I plan to work out for 30 minutes and I did it, I celebrate that. And I celebrate myself, and I'm happy to be who I am. I look at myself in the mirror regardless, and I look at beauty. And a lot of the times for us, again, with the way we were raised, my father used to make fun of me because I was the darkest one in the family. So I grew up with a lot of self-hatred and a lot of shame. And these are things for me, I have to recognize it. And these are just words, and I don't have to live it. So I look at myself, I'm beautiful, I am powerful, I am a great parent. Again, all these I ams. And if I'm afraid, like you talked about, Jack, fear, like you ran over there because your mom, we all have these fears, right? Fear of speaking in public, or fear of doing things, doing it in fear. Even if I'm afraid, do it. And I know for me, like coming on live is scary sometimes. I don't know if you guys have seen, but I have a Facebook live that I did of me going live, and I'm like so scared. I'm like, guys, I'm freaking out right now. And really, people have been there. People know what fear is like. So we just have to really go with it, even if we're afraid to do it. And lastly, I think consistency. Even if you don't want to do it, even if you are tired, even if you have all these reasons why you shouldn't do it, just do it. If it's being there for you and it's going to better yourself, your future, your mindset, do it, because you're worth it. And that's what I tell every day to myself. No excuses, just do it.
Yeah.
And hopefully if anyone gets anything out of this, like this is what I want for everyone to feel empowered, especially during moments like these, because we are powerful beings and we all have the ability to change our lives. So just continue. So I'm very grateful that we're talking about mindset.
Awesome.
Nice work.
So I'm listening to you guys and I'm dying to jump in.
Yes.
So much to add. And I have my own tips, but before I say my tips, I just want to say the things I didn't get to say while you were talking. So there are some themes that are very common in what we're talking about. And one of them is that we're not perfect. So for everyone out there who might be looking at us in a way like we're iconic and we're out there and we're perfect because we're doing this. No, if you lived with me, you would know how imperfect I am. No, we are not perfect. What we do have is courage. That doesn't mean that we do not have fear. It means that we bring fear along with us and we show up and then we get through it. And then in the middle of it, we're here having so much fun. But this is probably terrifying for at least two of us, Miriam and I. I don't know if Jack. I've been doing this for, I would say like 6 months. And every time it is still terrifying for me, Miriam. So, and I'm doing it twice a week. And this week I did it like 5 times a week. I'm doing it 5 times this week. So meaning showing up live. So we're not perfect, but I do want us to be an example to you guys that with courage and just one foot in front of the other, you will get through things. You just have to decide to put one foot in front of the other. Something that Miriam said right now was that sometimes you don't feel like doing it. Well, that's so true because, for example, I mean, I'm not going to say who I said this to, but there's someone very close to me that I said, hey, you really, for your health, I talked to someone and I cooked this whole thing up for you. And that person said, well, when I'm motivated, I'll do it. And, my whole codependency got kicked in and I was just like, well, you don't have to be motivated. Are you motivated to eat? Are you motivated to open your eyes? And then I start doing all of that. So that's my message also to piggyback on what something Miriam said is we need to be motivated to do what's right for ourselves. We just need to do what's right for ourselves. If you don't do what's right for yourself, then life isn't going to get better and your experience as a human being is just going to get worse. So you need to show up for yourself, whether you're motivated or not, whether you're sad or you're not, whether you're anxious or whatever it is, you still need to show up for yourself because I know deep inside of you, you know what's right for you and you know what you're supposed to be doing. And we are all examples of people who I lived in fear for years. Miriam is talking about her depression. Jack talked about his depression. And if we did it, of course you could do it. The most important thing is that we are examples of what could be done in your own life. We're a reflection of you. And that's why you're sitting here watching us is because we are a reflection of you. People who are still here and it's 50 minutes later. So
yes, thank you.
Yeah, I need this to resonate. I need this to resonate with you because if we did it and we came out of our dark holes, you could also do it. And if you're in a dark hole right now, you could come out of that too by having courage and putting one foot in front of the other, with or without motivation. I had a funny story, which is when I go to the gym, I play a really terrible game with myself, and I learned to do this, and it helps me do the next like three more or four more, which is I tell myself, and this is going to sound horrible, people, but I tell myself, right when I'm about to quit, I tell myself, if someone was about to die right now, would I quit? Or if I needed to save a life, would I do it? And I push through 4 more because I'm about to save a life. But I look at Jack. Jack is opening his eyes. And I'm like, so they said, this person's going to die unless you do 4 more. And I get 4 more. So if you're laughing out there, my morbid thing, go ahead and laugh. But my whole point is that the mind is so powerful, because it's only until I started saying that to myself that I was able to do 4 more, 5 more, or whatever it was. I would quit at 10 or 12. And with my crazy trainer who makes me do 20 or 25, I've been able to do this by not because, because I have to play this mind game with myself of someone's going to die, I'll do the next 10. I know it sounds terrible, but anyway, those are some of the things I wanted to talk about. But as far as tips go, that's
not terrible. That's actually a very, very common thing.
Okay.
For people that are pushing through boundaries in the gym, like you see great athletes out there. I know a few. They're saying the same thing, sister.
And what do they say? Someone's gonna die?
They say that, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, if I say someone's life right now.
Okay, whatever. But if I said someone else is gonna, I'll be like, oh no, it's not gonna be on me.
No, someone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, someone else. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So you're doing the right thing.
Oh, awesome, because I saw your eyes open like this, like woo. All right. So as far as tips go, my number one most important tip, if anything else, is I want you guys today write up a self-development plan. Even if that plan has 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, it doesn't matter. Just start with something. Start with a vision of where you would like to be. And don't start that vision with questions as to how am I going to do it. The how doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you fully feel the vision and you fully see what it is that you want to do for yourself, and you're able to really just be creative with that. Get in a creative space where you're able to just visualize it and see it, like Jack was saying, where you're able to create the picture and all that. The how will come later. The how comes as you put 1 foot in front of the other. The how shows up for you, but it's not going to show up for you if you don't even start with developing your plan. So that is that's the most important thing. And guys, the plan isn't something that ever ends. The plan is ongoing. I don't care if you're 80. I don't care if you're 90. I don't care how old you are. The plan will never end as long as you believe that you could grow, and as long as you believe this. And I'm here to tell you, you are. There are many people in their 70s, in their 80s that do incredible things and haven't stopped. Like most of the people running for president right now are like in their 70s, so they haven't stopped, and we don't have a reason to stop. The only reason to stop is if you tell yourself to, but we're here to tell you that is not accurate. It's simply not accurate. And like Jack was saying, if you tell yourself that you can't grow, your body, and you're going to believe that. So why don't you buy into the other side of the story, which is you could grow, you could change for the best, you could accomplish your dreams. And as a matter of fact, there aren't even enough lifetimes to really fulfill the potential that you came to Earth with. Let's start tapping into our potential and start that with a plan. If you guys want to jump on that, I have more tips, but I think I've spoke so much right now.
I just want to add to it because you summed up, you said something really powerful there, and I just want to bring it back to physiology and psychology and the way that we're chemically made up. Because in the back of our brain, we've got our reptilian brain, which is where the amygdala is. That's fight and flight. That's literally where we're living in a stress state. So if you're living in here right now by watching the news and watching the media, then you're literally reactive. You're in reactive mode like a reptile. Sex and survival. You're in the hustle. You're in the fear state. What Sarai's talking about is moving your consciousness from here into your neocortex, into the crowning achievement of humanity, into your frontal lobe, and starting to visualize your future. And you'll literally be pulled into your vision instead of being pushed by your problems. And the law says that without a vision, people perish.
Yes.
But he or she that keepeth the law, happy will they be. And that is the truth. That is the truth of the truth right there. If we have a vision, we are constantly being poured into our vision, into our future, as opportunities start opening up for us. So I just wanted to add that, Sarai, because it's so powerful and so rich. And that's the number one key right there.
Can I mention, I love what you're saying. One more thing that I wanted to share that has worked for me is, if you're not able to, or you feel you can't do it on your own, switching your mindset and all these, get a tribe, get a group of people that are already there, that can work with you. Like Chandra Brooks, unfortunately, she couldn't join us today. She's my mentor. She's my coach. And prior to her, I listened to, like I said, Lisa Nichols. I went to her trainings, her seminars. Otherwise, you could do it online if the financial part is not something that you could do at the moment. Get into groups that are in the place. Prior to me doing all of this and getting a coach, I went into meetups, meeting people that are already there or that you look up to. So sometimes it's hard for us to do it alone, and making all these changes in our lives. Find groups that are like-minded or people. Start socializing with them on social media or interacting with them. Like I said, I think a lot of social media, what we do is we focus on all these negative things. So if you're just stuck home right now watching TV and listening to everything about the coronavirus, try to shift that and get involved in something that's aligned to your purpose or aligned to what you want to do in life, and follow that. Because I think a lot of us are wasting our time with all this negativity, and it really sucks and takes all of our energy. So that's something that I do. I completely, all of my time, I don't even listen to the radio. I'm always listening to like Lisa, and I'm just like loud. My son, when I pick him up from school, he's like, lower that. The kids are going to think we're crazy. And
Let them think you're crazy.
And he goes to like the teen, Lisa has a teen program. He goes to my son, my older son, and my little one. The whole family, we're all involved in positivity. So if you can give your children anything yourself, try to focus on positive things, and get yourself a group of people that are already working in that area that you want to be.
Exactly. And if you read the book that you mentioned earlier, the mindset by, what was the lady's name that wrote the book?
Carol Dweck.
Dweck, right? If you read her, that's actually what she says to do. She says, you're not going to do it alone. You need people who are going to be there to sort of, she didn't say cheer you on, but I'm going to say cheer you on, collaborate with you, just sort of join energies with you. And that is actually so powerful. But another tip I had connected to creating your self-development plan is to focus on progress and not achievement. So if you focus on progress, which that was a big shift for me also, I for a while I was very perfectionistic, which is more than likely the underlying reason why these lives cause me so much anxiety, even though I've done it for so long, because I want it to be so perfect, but then I end up loosening up. But don't focus on the final goal. Focus on your progress and sort of celebrate every step of the way for yourself, because that's what actually stops people. You know, if you have a goal, and if you start looking at it as a mountain, you know, more than likely you're going to scare the hell out of yourself, and you won't even try. Or when you start trying, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you know what? That mountain is so high. I want to do that. So if you break it down into tiny pieces, it becomes extremely achievable. And before you know it, you're on top of the mountain and you won't even know how you got there. So that is a big tip that I have for other people that has big time work for me. And it's worked for a lot of people that want to write books. They don't see the mountain of the book. They see every piece of the book and break it into small, tiny pieces. So that's another tip. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add.
I'm good. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, that was good. Thank you so
amazing.
much.
Yeah.
And okay, so what I have two more tips. I'll say, take responsibility for your life. That is part of a growth mindset. I think, Jack, you alluded to that when you said blaming others. Well, if we're a victim, if we blame others, we blame our parents, we blame society, we blame our conditions, and we blame coronavirus, and we blame all these things. It takes away our responsibility, and it causes us to internally feel helpless. And when you feel helpless, you stop trying. It's like just lay down and wait for the train to run you over. I'm not laying down and waiting for the train to run me over. I'll probably and try to push the train away or something. And it's right there. But so just take responsibility for your life. Own your life. Your life belongs to you. Own it, and make a project out of it. Get curious and excited of who you could become and what. It is so exciting to see yourself grow and to see yourself do things that you've never done before, you never imagined. Like Miriam, I'm sure you said you were like with juvenile justice and all this stuff. You never imagined that you were going to be this beautiful woman in front of us with 2 children and motivating and impacting so many lives. So if you look at yourself that way and see, there's a saying that says, only look back to see how far you've come. So if you look back and see how far you've come, it's giving me goosebumps to see how far Miriam has come. And I only heard her story right now. It's like, that's amazing. And I grew up a lot like that. Everyone I grew up with I totally resonate with your story, because people have no idea. Like, here we are, but people have no idea.
Exactly.
Back then. And it's just so powerful, because people that are listening may feel how we felt, and we're just an example of, what, it doesn't matter. If you just need to choose, choose, be responsible, and take responsibility for your life, love your life, and just take it as a project, and just write out a plan. It doesn't matter how you're going to get there. Just write out like a dream, and feel that dream as if it were real. And your subconscious mind is going to come up with ways for you to grab that and make it a reality and manifest it in real life. It's really amazing. You guys have been manifested in my life because of what happened to me last year. And here you guys are. There was a time that I thought I wanted people just like you. Last year, I wanted people exactly like you in my life. And here you are. And here is Carrie and Brandy and all these people, Raymond. I've manifested all these people. And amazing. It was just a thought. You guys were just a thought. That's incredible. Like, I'm still freaked out every time I think, like, oh my God, how do I have a Circle of Champions literally started last February. And now people I interact with and do live.
So just to add on to that, right now, whoever's listening out there in the audience, your perfect ideal life, the opportunities, the people, the places, the circumstances, the events, the dream life that you're looking for out there is waiting for you. It's waiting for you, just like we were waiting for Sarai to show up. It's waiting for you right now to get laser clear, pen to paper, scribe the next chapter of your life, and watch the miracles and opportunities show up in your world as you step boldly and courageously into your future, into your vision. And that takes faith, man. It's a faith walk. I like to call it the Jesus walk. It's a faith walk.
It is a faith walk.
Yeah. But it's the richest walk on this planet.
But that's why you don't ask how, because you have faith.
Nah, it's none of your business. The how's none of your business.
Exactly. If it showed up in your vision, it's yours. It's already yours. It's up to you to just reach out and pull it. And I don't want to do that. Sam says my hands look too big when I do that.
And I think also with that is just be patient. It's not gonna, sometimes it's not gonna manifest the next day. Just take a day at a time and just be patient. I know that's something that I learned, and I've had great things happen this year so far. I knew it was going to be a magical year. And I said, okay, life-changing. I didn't think the life-changing would be the coronavirus, but everything else has been amazing. And just really being prepared for the moment. And you might get there to your goal, and it might be a different way that you plan for it, but you'll get there. So I think sometimes the journey might change a little bit, but don't change the goal unless you want. And just keep on going. Of course, you have to work for it. But if you really see yourself there, you believe in yourself, you will get there. And just take it a day at a time. Sometimes when things come up, and for me, for example, I wasn't able to work on my real estate because my son was sick or something happened. That's okay. The next day, jump back on. And I think it's super important for us not to give up on ourselves.
Yeah, and that's part of having faith. That's part of having faith, because when things shift and it wasn't our intention for it to shift, we have to trust that everything is working for us.
Right.
Even if it looked differently for us, that shift, that GPS change or whatever it is, it's working for us. It's working for us. Something, and that's part of being optimist and just trying to search and looking for the benefits. If it shifted, just go with it and then adjust to that and just ask yourself, okay, what am I going to get from this? And then make it exciting. It's exciting to know, like, okay, something shifted. Okay, what am I going to find here? Where's the gold here? Look for the gold. Always look for the benefit. Always look for that type of thing. And if you train, let me tell you guys, it took a lot for me to train myself to be this way. It took a lot of Tony Robbins and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on all his CDs. And just meditating to them and just like not stopping. Like what Miriam was saying, I don't listen to anything else. I just have headphones on constantly. Even in the movies, when I don't want to watch the movie, but my daughter does, I'm listening to something and pouring into myself. And it just takes that obsessive need and want to change to really make that happen. And God knows if I did it, anyone out there could do it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. So now the message here is anyone out there could do it.
Yeah, what you're sharing there is such a sacred walk. It's also aligned in ancient Chinese philosophy, in the Tao Te Ching, in the way, the flow of life, surrendering to flow. I think that's the next step that you're talking about is once you've got into your vision, surrendering to your vision, surrendering to the flow, surrendering to the opportunities, knowing that you've got your plan and then the universe or God or whatever your relationship has got its plan of the way it's going to show up. And that's when life becomes really miraculous and really amazing.
Yes, it does. So I'm going to jump into like the audience. So Raymond says, God has already planned it. You just have to walk out in faith, knowing God will clear the path for you. Not that it will be hard, but that it will work in your favor. Exactly. Mary said me too to something that one of us was saying. Only look back to see how far you've come. Wow, I love that. Yeah, that's I learned that. It's awesome. So glad I did. So glad you did show up. So I guess that's all of us. If you guys have any questions, go ahead. There aren't any questions. There's like a lot of comments, but if you guys have any questions, maybe on any questions that are personal to you, we would love to answer some of your questions. Circle of Champions, right? Isn't that powerful? You will be pulled by your vision instead of pushed by your fear. That is so true. And it's so much the energy that you have when you're pulled by your vision instead of pushed to a goal. You don't want to get pushed towards a goal because then you're dragging your butt on the whole there.
Yes.
You're pulled and you want to feel excited and be curious.
It's magnetic. It's magnetic. It's a pulling. It's a vortex. It's the way the universe is flowing. It's moving through time and space.
Do you guys
it's the way the Earth's being pulled.
Yeah. Do you guys have any
through the universe?
How to create that? Something that will pull you?
A definite chief aim and a burning desire. Napoleon Hill 101. Get a definite chief aim and get a burning desire for its achievement. A burning desire. Something that lights you up when you think about it. I always say, how do you know when you're on the right path? You should feel lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yes, yes.
Every time you think about it.
Yeah. Something that I listened to on my audiobook was The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. So that's one of the ones that I learned about, energy and different things. So that's something that people are interested in. I would recommend that book or the movie. Yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely. So there aren't any questions. You running to a dream or running from a dread? Yeah, that's good. That is very good.
Nice.
Powerful.
Nice.
That's good. So no one's. It's just a lot of comments, and we've gone over a lot of comments. There aren't too many or any questions at all, actually. So any closing remarks? I think I made all my closing remarks. I said a lot.
Yeah. I'm grateful. I'm just grateful for being here. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to show up. Sarai and Miriam, I appreciate this. And I hope everyone got massive benefit. And I'm just sending my love, my prayers and my blessings to everyone out there listening and to humanity. And just really hoping that everyone has a healing time through this journey that we're all going through together.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you. I'm super honored and blessed to be here with both of you. Like I said, actually, when Sarai replied to my Facebook comment who wanted to do a live, I was surprised that she responded so quickly and she was interested. I'm like, really, this is so amazing because I've seen the work that you're doing with everyone and just using your platform to serve others and to provide others with information every week. So I appreciate you still using your platform for this. I appreciate Jack and all his information and his experiences. I'm excited to learn more about both of you and keep on following you with on your journeys. Hopefully you can be a part of mine. And I hope people here got more information, valuable information about their mindset. I hope everyone is able to reach success and also maintain healthy and strong during these hard times that we're going through.
Yes, yes, and I want to thank you guys for doing this with me as well. I'm always so excited, like to meet new people, and I'm so excited to do this in collaboration with others, and especially people like you guys are. You guys are so empowering in your stories. You know, I had a big surprise today. I didn't know either of your stories. So that was stories are I love. I'm like a story collector. I love stories. So thank you guys so much for being here with us. And we're getting a lot of thank yous. Thank you, Sarai. Thank you. Oh, wait, how did I do that? Thank you, Miriam, Jack, practical, relatable. And someone actually asked a question, and we're like about to come off, but they said, how do you find yourself just starting your journey and staying to it? For me, I'm constantly juggling so much and find myself starting something, but don't finish. What made you continue? Does anybody want to answer that?
I'll share mine real quick. Again, being consistent, either putting it on your phone as a reminder and just reminding yourself that what's your purpose and what is it that you need to change. For me, I didn't want to be sad anymore. I didn't want to be depressed, and I wanted to show up for me and for my family. So whatever you want to do, just stick it on your wall, stick it on your phone, wherever you're going to see it every day. I actually had my wall in the back. If you can see, I remove all the papers, different things that I wanted to learn and different things regarding my mindset. If you have it in front of you every day, you won't forget about it. But sometimes we have a goal or a plan and then we move on, and a month later, oh, I wanted to do that. Don't do that. Show up for yourself. Just like you would show up for anyone else. So I think just being consistent and being committed to yourself.
Yeah, that's powerful. And I just want to add to that. What's your why? What's your why? What's your why? What's your why? Get really, really clear on that, because that is what's going to get you motivated, get you up in the morning, and get you going. Very, very important to have a very strong, compelling reason to know why you're doing what you're doing. I know for mine, initially, it was running from something, and then I was actually supporting someone very special and very close to me who transitioned, and my why was wanting to support her and keeping her alive. So when she transitioned, it really crushed me, and I had to reassess why I was doing what I was doing. So that might change for you over time, but get very clear on what your why is, because that's the one that you want to get focused on every single day when you wake up, and your vision and what's getting you up out of bed, getting you motivated, getting you focused, making you want to show up. And ideally, it's going to be something bigger than you. For me, it's always been something bigger than me. It's always been about wanting to serve or help someone outside of myself. So that's really, really important. And then the other one is celebrating yourself. That's been a big one that I've learned about recently, because for a long time I didn't. For a long time, I used to actually really punish myself. I used to get angry at Jack, and I used to really mistreat Jack, especially when I made mistakes. So I invite you to imagine yourself like a child, and think about how many times a child falls down before they learn to walk. They get knocked down, they get straight back up. They get knocked down, they get straight back up. And just like imagine how long it took you to walk, and then think about what you're trying to do and recognize that it's going to take time, and encourage yourself every time you get back up. Keep getting back up, just keep getting back up. And I guarantee all of a sudden you'll be walking, and then you'll be running, and then you'll be flying.
Love it. You guys ended this beautifully. And for those of you there's a few people still there. I don't know if you guys noticed that Jack said, what's your why? What's your why? That was extremely intentional for him to repeat that over and over, because that's what you need to ask yourself constantly. What is my why? That's going to be your drive, guys. Your drive to move forward when you have no motivation is going to be your why. So that was a beautiful way for you guys to end this. And for everyone watching, if you're not part of Circle of Champions, go ahead and join us, because then you'll get a lot more of this. It's not just me. It's so many other influencers that are daily posting lives and giving positive messages. but you're only going to get it if you go to Circle of Champions, because it's not on my page. It's on Circle of Champions. So go ahead and join us there, and I'll be happy to approve you. All right. Good night, everyone. Is it night? Yes, it's night. It's 7:19. Good night, everyone. Awesome stuff. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.